everyone, and welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
And we're back. And not only are we back, Jerry, but we are about 3 weeks away from seeing the Carolina Panthers on our television sets. Well, a version of the Carolina Panthers on our television sets.
Let's not get our hopes up too much.
Game.
I remember every week, every preseason, I get so excited. In like half an hour in, I'm like, "Oh God, yeah." They show nothing. Bryce Young's not going to play, but I am excited to see a couple guys, that we're going to be mentioning today. Whether off-season additions and everything, kind of the new look 2025 Panthers. So I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, I'm excited to see some of the draft picks get some run. Some of the draft picks from last year get out there a little more and see some improvement that maybe we'll see from the offseason. And preseason means that the regular season is right around the corner.
Yeah,
so that's the most important thing to me. Football is training camp starts next week?
Yeah, 1 week from the day we're recording this. So by the time we release this, 6 days, not even a week. We're gonna know what fashion people are driving up in and who got a speeding ticket on the way down to. Well, no, they're not going down to Spartanburg. I'm sorry.
That's right.
That used to be one of the fun things about the first day of training camp of who got the tickets.
Well, and also it should be fun to actually watch them go through training camp.
Well, we're not going to do that this year. We're going to get Fan Fest, and that's it.
The next 2 years, there will be no fans at training camp, which sucks. That's a huge bummer, and I feel like a big mistake. But we're not here to be negative today. We're here to be positive, and we're going to talk about. Jerry, why don't you tell us all what we're going to be talking about today?
We're basically doing an off-season recap of the additions, the subtractions, what we're looking forward to, just kind of seeing how Dan Morgan reorchestrated, reconfigured this team to play this offseason or this upcoming season. And I like it. I like what he did. But before that, I do want to talk about a couple things, house cleaning items. First thing, Steven and I were voted number 2 Panthers podcast by FeedSpot. Number 2, baby. Out of all the Panthers podcasts, the Jake Delhomme and Jordan Gross podcast actually came in 3rd. So I was shocked that we were so high.
Yeah, I'm curious to know what their metrics are.
I don't either.
It has something to do with like average review, maybe the number of listens and views. I don't know. I have no idea what their criteria is for ranking. And we've been on this list before. I think last year or maybe the year before, we were like a number 11 or something. So we've shot up through the ranks.
Yeah, and we're like a rocket
as
ship.
Always, we definitely appreciate everybody that takes time to listen to us talk and engage with us. We get lots of emails and messages and comments on the YouTube channel and everything like that. So just piggybacking really quickly on Jerry's announcement here, I would just a little bit of a call to arms. We've noticed, it's the off season, right? Numbers are down a little bit across the board for football podcasts, but tell a friend, and as the season kind of gets going, we will be way more prolific with our podcast output. So. In the off season, we've maintained a pretty steady pace.
Yeah.
I think one every couple weeks has been kind of the way we've done it this year, and that seems to have worked out pretty well. But as the season starts, and certainly during the season, we go two to three a week.
Depending on situations. Yeah.
Yeah. So please tell a friend and get ready because they're coming.
Subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Twitter. You can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com, and please review us on Apple Podcasts. Again, guys, we try not to do anything like Patreon or anything else, but we would appreciate that. This year, we are kind of boosting our sales in a sense of t-shirts. I spent some of the off season designing some new t-shirts. Check them out on TeePublic. You can find the link in the description below. Also, we have a Gambling for the Children t-shirt this year. Any proceeds, any money we get from that shirt will go immediately to St. Jude's. We are not gambling with it.
For any new listeners who maybe didn't hear the segment last year, Gambling for the Children is not as horrible as it seems. It's basically every week we pick a prop bet essentially, and we make a small wager on it via DraftKings. I don't remember what.
Yeah, I don't.
FanDuel maybe.
Last year we gave $170, I believe we donate, because we always go with the one we actually think is going to hit, so we can donate money to St. Jude's. Again, great organization and everything else,
Right. Yeah. So all the winnings, we don't keep any of it. It's all donated to St. Jude's. And again, it's not a ton of money. We're not we don't have a ton of money to gamble with. But we did send a couple $100 last year, and as Jerry said, the t-shirts are another way for us to kind of do that. And Jerry's done some really good work on the t-shirts. There's some cool and unique designs out there, so definitely check them out.
Yeah, I mean, I spent a good bit. I think I came up with about eight or nine new designs. I got a Cali to Cali connection in Carolina one. I've got a bunch of special to our guys, JC Horn, seatbelt lockdown, jersey looking t-shirt and stuff. So yeah, please check it out.
A cool T-Mac design with a lay on it. It's pretty neat. I might order that one myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, check them out.
All right. Now let's get to the fun part. The Carolina Panthers offseason. We're going to start with the defense, as that's the biggest thing that needed to be overhauled after a historically bad defense we had this year. Yeah. Worst rush defense of all time.
And that's not rhetoric. That
no.
Legitimately the worst rush defense of all time. It was 175 yards a game or something, right?
Yeah, it was so bad. I will say, we're gonna go over some of the. I don't understand why teams did not run the ball 40 times on us and pass the ball 15 towards the end of the season. As that would have been my game plan. I'd have been like, quarterback, you can rest your arm this week. O-line, get ready to shove the D-line.
Right. Anytime a quarterback would actually drop back, there was a sense of relief for me when we was watching the game. I was like, oh, thank goodness that they're not coached by a smart person.
I mean, come on.
I agree. I'd be running that Chris Winkie offense every week if I was a Panthers opponent.
Brian St. Pierre, Vinny Testaverde group. Yeah.
We'd be running 50 times a game.
So with that, a lot of the Panthers starters are gone, and other players. So the players that were signed elsewhere: Xavier Woods, starting safety, signed with Tennessee. That one, he got 2 years, $8 million for Tennessee. It hurt me because I do think he had some left in the tank, but I get it. He didn't play good last year. Lonnie Johnson, okay, bye. Went to Vegas. Sam Franklin.
Remember, we were fairly excited about Lonnie Johnson when he came on board last year, and he just sucked.
Yeah. Sam Franklin, I'm a little shocked that we didn't sign him back as a special teamer, but, he went to Denver. Yeah. Happy trails. Dane Jackson, really big whiff for Dan Morgan and his signing. Going back to Buffalo on a 1-year deal. Jordan Fuller, another big whiff by Dan Morgan last offseason, going to Atlanta this year, so we get to see him twice. Shaq Thompson, towards the end of his career now, he's going to Buffalo to be that veteran leadership backup role player. And Raquan Williams, didn't even know you were on the team, went to the Lions. So, deuces.
Yeah, and none of these guys got big deals. None of these guys were highly sought after. I do agree. I think the biggest loss on this list is probably Sam Franklin. Just because of his versatility and, as you said, his special teams play was pretty good. Obviously, Shaq, that he's the long-term guy, the Panther for life. We thought he was going to be, but he's going to Buffalo, and you know,
Hey,
that's Panthers North. I'm excited for him. I hope that he makes the team and can contribute some up there.
yeah, I mean, I was hoping he would come back here for that type of deal, but I get it. If he wants to go chase a ring, hats off to you. Good
Well,
luck.
I don't think the Panthers wanted him back.
Yeah,
I don't think they would have offered him. He's got no guaranteed money. This is a tryout essentially for the team for him. So, but I am rooting for him. But
yep.
yeah, I mean, Xavier Woods, you mentioned him. He was a little below average last year, but based on what we currently have, he probably would have made the team here.
Yeah, and here's my thing about him getting not being or brought back and everything was the simple fact that it was so depleted that I felt like he probably felt like he had to do more than
Mhm.
he was needed to do, and it got him out of position a lot worse. And
Played
that's
outside of his skill set. Yeah.
yeah, and that's what I chalked it up to. Again, I don't know if his level of play altogether really dropped, or if the team around him sucks so bad
I
that
I think that's mostly what it was. Now he had 88 tackles last year, which is fifth among all safeties in the league. That's not what you want really from a player like Xavier Woods. That just means that these guys are getting past the initial front almost every play,
yeah,
right? And he's out there making tackles instead of playing coverage and doing what he should be doing. That being said, he wasn't great in coverage. He wasn't a good pass rusher. He wasn't a great run defender. Like, it's not a big loss.
it's not. He's a quality starting safety in my opinion, but I don't think he's a needle mover. And this
Yeah.
team needed some needle movers. And with their first addition this offseason, I think they got one. They went ahead and signed Trayvon Moreg, safety from the Vegas Raiders, 3-year, $51 million. This guy can play, coverage, but he really excelled inside the box at run defense. So his first couple of years, he was more of a coverage safety, and last year he was really in the box guy. So he can play both, and I mean, he's shoring up that safety's position. We'll discuss needs later on, but right now he's a starter. No doubts
Oh
about
yeah.
it.
I mean,
Quality.
he made $50 million deal. Like he's definitely a starter. Um, he had an 87.5 run defense grade based on PFF last year. If you guys get a chance, and Jerry, I know you've seen it, but the latest blueprint that the Panthers released was kind of going into the free agent deals and even a couple of the releases, but uh, they are extremely high. He was like the guy that they targeted, and I think maybe even the number one guy they targeted in free agency. So yeah, a lot of outlets I've seen have said they had to overpay a little bit, but I don't know. I mean, he's 26 years old. He had a career year last year. By all accounts, he was, easily the number two safety in free agency, and some places put him number one. So I think home run. I don't see how this can go wrong as long as he stays healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think this was a hit that you had to make, especially letting Woods go. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, you got a starting safety with caliber, like good Pro Bowl resume. I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, you had to do this, especially with no one else back there. And we'll discuss that later on. I keep bringing that up, but, right now it's Damani Richardson, Trayvon Moreg, and Nick Scott, who signed a 1-year deal to come back here for $1 million. So, I mean, it's nothing. I mean, that safety position's pretty
Yeah,
thin.
and
You did,
that's again not guaranteed. So he he's basically trying out for the team
yeah,
essentially.
and you did say he was probably their number one. I do think Milton Williams was their number one, um, which it sounded like they had an agreement done until New England backed up the Brinks truck, and thankfully, in my opinion, after seeing what he got, Dan Morgan went ahead and folded because I think that would have been way too much for this team right now to spend because You already have Derek Brown, who just didn't play last year.
Yeah.
You need so many positions in that cap space. Went to other players, i.e., Patrick Jones signed from the Minnesota Vikings for 2 year, $15 million. 8 sacks last year, or 8.5 sacks. I can't remember off the top of my head. Good, solid season from the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know if he's a premier starter, but I think he's a solid starter to pair with another solid starter in DJ Wonnum.
Yeah, I mean, 2 years, $15 million. That's not premier starter money,
No,
and
no, no.
he doesn't really have the you know career thus far to get more than that. But should be an improvement over what we had out there last year. And I mean, again, he's a big guy. He's 6'5", 264.
You know who's not on this list that I just realized on losses?
Who's it?
We cut Jadeveon Clowney, and we did not even talk about it. That was one release that this adds a lot of credence to, because Jadeveon Clowney didn't play most of the year. I was not a big fan of the release. I thought adding him and keeping him in rotation would have been helpful, but
Did you say he did not play most of the year? He did play most of the year.
I thought he missed quite a few games, I thought.
I think he played like 16 games, 15, 16 games.
Oh, well.
But yeah, this is one that you and I are a little divided on, because I'm actually perfectly. Yeah, he played 14 games last year, so he played most of the games last year. But he was okay last year.
No, I agree. He was okay, but
I've never been a big fan of his. I always thought that he, overrated. I've always thought that Jadeveon Clowney was overrated.
more of a name than a player.
For sure.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. The big hit, right?
And I agree. I don't think he played as great as I would hope, but at the same time, with DJ Wonnum out most of the year, it was him and no one else. Again, no one else, but
yeah. Yeah, and there will be probably more people who agree with you than agree with me, but I just I can't envision a future in Jadeveon Clowney's 11th, 12th year where he's a difference maker.
And I don't think I wanted it. I don't see him as a difference maker. I just thought adding him to a young edge rushing core, which that's what we have with DJ Wonnum, Patrick Jones, and the draft guys. I thought adding another rotational guy could be very beneficial to that route. But they did save a lot of money, and they were able to sign some guys from that money. And with one of those, they did sign Tershawn Wharton to a 3-year, $45 million contract. That was a lot. He's came from Kansas City Chiefs. That is a lot of money, in my opinion. A lot of places I saw, this was the biggest overpay that the Panthers did.
Yeah, this one. Now he had a good season last year, but again, another guy, and this is one thing that I liked, is another guy with a career year, coming off of a career year, right? Another younger player. He's 27, so not super young, but he's still. I think this is this I believe is his first contract outside of his rookie
Yes,
deal.
I believe so.
Yeah, and most of these guys who we signed and that was the case. But yeah, this one I also saw a lot of people a little iffy on this one. However, if you watch Blueprint, they zeroed in on this guy pretty early. You had some familiarity with who's the cap guy that we have, Dan Morgan's right hand man.
Oh, I can't think of it. Oh, you're hurting my brain.
I know. I shouldn't have asked you. Now I've embarrassed both of us, but he had some familiarity with him, from his days in Kansas City as well. But yeah, I think they're very excited about him coming. Turk, I think they call him, right? That's his nickname. But yeah, a guy that had I think he had 7 sacks in the regular season last year and a couple in the playoffs maybe, but yeah, I mean, this is another one that's kind of like we're going to be crossing our fingers hoping it works out.
Yeah, Brant
Tillis. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, I knew I was like Brant. I was like, Okay,
Yeah.
but yes, I really like the signing. I think pairing him with Ashawn Robinson, with Derek Brown, and then you're gonna have this next guy coming up, Bobby Brown, defensive tackle, who's a true nose. I think you're gonna be able to rotate those three in. Bobby Brown's not a pass rusher. He's a space eater. So I think
Yeah.
on obvious passing downs, you got Tershawn Wharton, Derek Brown, and Ashawn Robinson as your three down plus your two edges. I think that's going to be a very good thing. And Bobby Brown, 3 years, 21 million. Did I say that? I'm sorry if I repeated myself, but I love this. Is probably my favorite free agent signing. I think
Really?
this is what this team needed is a true nose to play in this defense. He's already familiar with Evero coming from the Los Angeles Rams. I love this pickup. I think this is going to be a not stat fun looking player, but I think this is going to be the linchpin that really makes a difference on this defensive line.
Yeah. I mean, his PFF grades are above average. Six. Most of these guys' best stats are their run defense grades, like
Shocking.
which, hey, definitely needed to upgrade in that area. But he is 6'4", 324 pounds. He's massive. Big upgrade over Shy Tuttle and whoever else was rotating in and out of there last year. But and I think you can almost count Derek Brown as an addition this year just because he missed the whole year last year. So the defensive line, very, very different than what we saw last year.
Yeah,
I mean, completely different.
I personally feel like this team is going to have the same effect on the defense that it had on the offense with that line that they really went out and spent money on last year. I think they did the same thing where they didn't get the premier guy, but I like Robert Hunt, but I do think they added a lot of quality players there that's going to be able to rotate, stay fresh, and help in certain circumstances. Bobby Brown, again, not going to pass rush. He's not a pass rusher. If he gets a sack, hallelujah. But his guy, he is there not even to get tackles. He is there to take up two blockers so the linebackers can get free, so that Derek Brown can have one-on-one. So, Tershawn Wharton, Ashawn Robinson can get free. So
Yeah, he's a teammate. He's one of those guys that you need on the team. But yeah, he's at 0 sacks last year, at 26 tackles. Like that's not getting anybody excited, nor should it. It's not what he does.
no,
To your point, but he will free up other guys on the line to get to the quarterback, put pressure on the quarterback, take some of the pressure off of the secondary. Yeah, I'm not gonna say this is my favorite signing that we had. I think Morig is probably my favorite signing, but I think he may be one of the more impactful signings for sure. Just given the freedom that he's going to allow some of these other guys to operate with.
yep. Next up on the signing chart, we have Christian Roseboom from the Los Angeles Raiders. Woo, throwback. 1 year, $2.5 million. Former Evero guy, solid player overall. Could be a starter. Trevon Wallace, we'll see. It's him, Trevon Wallace, and Josie Jewell are going to be rotating in that inside linebacker spot. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, Roseboom, not a guy who, will blow your socks off again with stats or anything, but solid player, good rotational guy, solid signing.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this. I think Evero believes in Trevon Wallace. I think this team does too. I think that's why they only went and got Roseboom. So,
Yeah.
let's hope that pans out. I am a little bit more iffy on that. I would have preferred to go get a little bit better starter than Roseboom, but
Well, the money unfortunately is not unlimited, and they had to kind of pick and choose where they were going to upgrade. And also, I don't know what I don't remember what the linebacker free agent. Everyone out there, I don't remember who
Yeah,
really was
I don't
available,
either.
but
And
um,
yeah, you're right, and I don't really remember either. But at least he has
yeah,
familiarity with Evero and Evero,
right.
vice versa. So
That means something, right? I mean,
it,
they wouldn't have signed him if Evero didn't have some faith that he was going to be able to produce.
yep. Another free agent signing we're all familiar with: Mike Jackson, cornerback from the Carolina Panthers, coming back 2 years, $10.5 million. He played good. Sorry, I have some
Yeah,
hiccups all of a sudden.
that's a good. I mean, $5 million a year for somebody who's likely going to start for you all season long. That's just a solid deal.
Yeah,
And again, he wasn't, uh, you know, a top tier corner, but in terms of a number two, especially opposite a legit number one in JC Horn, I like it. I love the signing actually. I think it's a good value.
yeah. I think bringing him back, especially at that contract, was a
Yeah.
no-brainer. I think
In 2 years.
I was gonna say he is what he is. I don't think he's a world beater. I would like to add a little bit more depth, which we'll talk about later. But you know, yeah, he was a quality player last year. Why would you not want to bring him back for that deal? That's a great quality deal for this Panthers team and for him. He's making $10.5 million. He was about to get cut last year. That's why he's here. Um,
Yeah, that's an underrated signing.
yeah, Nick Scott, also coming back 1 year, $1.33 million. This is a special teamer
I don't.
and a guy who can compete
Yeah,
for the roster. That's what it is.
I don't have a ton to say about Nick Scott.
Yeah, I mean that's
Uh,
what it is. It is what
Again,
it
it's a
is.
tryout, right? Yeah.
Um, there was another player that we did not mention. We mentioned him, but J.C. Horn signed that big
Hmm.
deal. One of the higher paid, which was the highest paid, and now he's already like number 4 on that list
Yeah,
of the
number three
quarterbacks.
or number four. Yeah.
So like, I mean, I get it. I know it was kind of shocking to give that type of money to him, but at the
Yeah,
same
but
time, you had to do it to get him back in the
yeah.
organization. It is a risk. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that at all. It is a risk. We'll see.
Could easily turn out to be a terrible deal.
Easily.
But he could also very easily, if he stays healthy, he will earn the money. I
Yeah.
have no doubt. It is a one of those situations where the only way it doesn't work out is if he gets hurt.
Yeah. 4 years, $100 million
That my
dollars.
opinion. Yeah.
So, um, real quickly
And in
before.
and in 2 years, sorry, in 2 years, it's not going to be a lot of money.
Oh,
Like the cap will be such, and there will be 5 or 6 more corners who make more than him. He'll be fringe top 10 paid at that point, and I'll probably be looking for his next extension or a trade at that point. So, I had no issues with that signing at all.
no, I don't either. I mean, has Sertain signed yet? I don't know if he has, but that's gonna.
Yeah, he did, and I think, hang on, I'll have to look him up real quick, but I think Horn makes more than him.
What?
Yeah, I think that was kind of the big.
I thought
Damn it.
Sertain was still waiting on.
I don't know how to spell his name.
Patrick Sertain. You don't know how to spell? Sertain. Spell it out. S-U-R.
Oh, SUR.
Yeah,
There we go.
he did sign an extension. It looks like it doesn't tell me. 4 years, 96.
4 years, 96. Yeah. So yeah, Horn got more than him.
I think he has more guaranteed though. So no, no, he doesn't.
Nope. This
Wow.
was yeah Horn. I think he signed before Horn, and that was one of the people were like, I can't believe that Horn's making more than Patrick Surtain, which I understand, completely understand that way of thinking, given the fact that Surtain is quite possibly the number one corner in the league. Um, and stays healthy.
Yeah. No,
But again, if the Panthers didn't do it, another team would have,
yeah,
and we'd have lost him. So
it's
that's
just,
it's something you had to do.
and us as Panthers fans also have to realize that this Panther team's going to get a lot of a salary cap bump next year because a lot of
Yeah.
dead cap from the Matt Rule era is going to finally start getting off the books.
Yeah.
So, a couple other guys that were signed that mean very little in the needle move. Jack Henderson, safety. Jared Harrison, Hunter, defensive end. Michael Reed, cornerback. Again, signed. Isaac Guilford, signed. Not a needle mover. That's it.
Yeah. And then, of course, you look at the draft, and, the two guys who likely will be the most impactful on defense from the draft are Princely and Scorton. But we've talked a lot about those guys over various podcasts, so we won't rehash a lot of that. But suffice to say, this is a very different looking defense than it was in January when the season ended. And I struggle to envision a scenario in which they do not massively improve over what we saw last year.
I agree. At least on run defense. I do think the secondary was hidden a little bit. I don't know how good they were just because you could run at them at will. At what point is running at them at will going to overseed Mike Jackson over there? Oh, we have Mike Jackson and J.C. Horn. I could throw, but at the same time, why throw when I can average 6 yards a carry? Like,
yeah, it's hard to even look at any stats from last year with any real, understanding of what it's going to look like this year, given the massive upgrade on the defensive line and the fact that teams are not going to be able to just run for 200 yards on us at will.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: is I love being able to think about putting up a pass rush special line with Princely, Nick Scorton, Pat Jones, DJ Wanham, whether or not whoever pans out between those four as the best pass rushers, with Derek Brown, with Tayshawn Morton, with Ashawn Robinson in the middle, or Shy Tuttle in the middle in that type of scenario, where Bobby Brown and Cam Jackson don't have to be there because they're, space eaters. So I do like that. Lathan Ransom, safety, drafted. I like that pick. He's a hard-hitting safety that likes to get down in the box, who has a good feel. Probably not going to be ready this year. He's a fourth-round pick. Cam Jackson is another nose tackle that this team desperately needed and didn't have. So now they have two qualified nose tackles in Bobby Brown and Cam Jackson. I love what they did. The defensive line is going to be night and day better. Now,
it may not be a top 10 defensive line.
No.
Sacks and things like that. But if it's a top 18, that's such a huge improvement over last year. It's going to feel like it's top 10.
Yes, 100%. Now, with that said, what do you think? What do you see the Panthers adding any positions, whether during training camp, right before, during training camp, or at cut down time? Because we know that's how we got Mike Jackson last year, and that's how we get a lot of quality players, honestly.
Yeah, and this is a good time to bring up a question that we had from one of our listeners, Andrew C., one of our OGs. He had asked about TJ Watt and the potential for the Panthers making a trade for TJ Watt. Now, if that happened, that would immediately, I think that would indicate that the Panthers are, in Super Bowl hunting mode, right? Like, that's a move that a team hoping to win 7 games doesn't make, right? That's a move that a team who expects to win the division and expects to compete for a championship makes. So I don't think the Panthers are there yet. That being said, if TJ Watt, plays another year for Pittsburgh, and next year is available either be a trade or free agency or however his contract works out. I could easily see the Panthers making a move for him at that point. Um, what do you think about a potential TJ Watt as a Panther scenario?
Hey, I would love it. I would be so excited about one of the best pass rushers in the league right now coming to Carolina. With what you just said, I don't see it right now. They just drafted 2 young guys, Princely and Nick Scorton. They just signed Pat Jones. They signed DJ Wonnum last year. I think this team, I don't want to say is in a holding pattern. I think it's more of a panning out pattern where they're trying to see what they have in those guys. And again, as much as all of us want to be chasing that ring right now, this team understands they are in year 2 of a build. Last year was a good stepping stone. This year's the second stepping stone. Next year is playoffs and hunting, in my opinion. This year is hopefully fringe playoffs hunting. But if they're not, it's not blow it up unless they have a colossal failure. So I don't see them going for TJ Watt. I would love it, but...
Yeah, and TJ Watt may very well not even want to play here this year, right? Understanding what you just said. This is a team that is in transition, a team that is building, building a culture. Now, TJ Watt, I think, would be a fine culture guy. I think having a veteran like that in here would be amazing. He's the white whale, right? Like, it would be awesome. Fantastic to get a guy like that here. And, the cap space, they could figure that out. They could backload that contract. Oh, yeah. Would not be an issue. They could easily make it work. I don't think it's a realistic possibility. Now, that being said, in terms of other positions, I certainly expect the Panthers to sign more secondary help, especially once cut down starts happening for other teams. There will be guys available who will be upgrades. They have around $20 million, I believe, in cap space, that they can use to sign some of these guys. So I fully expect some secondary help to come in. It wouldn't surprise me to see another linebacker potentially be signed. And even some pass rushers. Like, they're just in the mode of adding talent right now, regardless of position, as well they should be.
Yeah.
So but I think secondary help is an obvious one that will definitely happen.
I agree with you. I expect a safety to be signed, a starting quality safety be signed before the end of training camp.
Wow.
And I'm thinking Justin Simmons, Julian Blackmon. Those are my 2 guys. They've already been shown interest. I think those guys one of them will probably be signed here before the end of training camp. Right now, I think unfortunately, the way the safety position is, they don't typically get a long-term contract. They don't get big deals. Those 2 guys are probably holding out for 2-3 year deals, and the Panthers, again, this is year 2 in building. They just just drafted Latham Ransom, and they want to see what Damani Richardson has. So I think they're holding off, but they're going to do it. They're going to pull the trigger, and I 100% need another cornerback in this room. I am sorry. I am not comfortable.
That is a must.
I am not comfortable with J.C. Horn, Chal Smith-Wade, and Mike Jackson as basically the only quality guys. I mean, there could be another one out there, but not going corner in the draft still shocks me.
I mean, when you look at the depth chart, outside of those 3 guys, the next few are Shamar Bartholomew.
Exactly.
A Caleb Evans, Corey Thornton, MJ Devonshire. I think Bartholomew I remember maybe from last year, but I don't recognize any of those other names.
No, exactly. Again, this is what I'm saying. They have to get somebody else in there, especially with J.C. Horn's injury concern. I mean, you just signed him, and I know you don't want to think that way, but you have to. I mean, whether it's a Asante Samuel still out there, I know he's probably wanting more. Russell Douglas, like there's so many guys out there that you could
Yeah.
get, in my opinion.
I'd be happy to have Rasul Douglas back. I never really understood why they got rid of him in the first place. He played pretty well for us the year that he was here. So I think that's one that I just don't know what kind of locker room guy he is because he does move around a lot.
Yeah,
So I'm wondering if there's some issue with him off the field or not necessarily off the field, but maybe in the locker room. Um, but yeah, I agree. Another corner is an absolute imperative. Safety, I feel like, is just a tick under that in terms of importance, and maybe even on the same line. But just the depth after Mike Jackson
it's just
is just there's
non-existent.
just nothing there. Yeah, there's just nothing there.
And with you saying that, I think Charles Smith Wade's a solid nickel corner. I don't want it because even though in the depth chart he is lower, he's a nickel corner, and he's a
Right.
starter in my eyes. So let's not
Yeah.
say he's horrible, but
Yeah, no, I'm not, that wasn't anything against him. I'm just thinking of the guys on the outside, right?
yeah.
And with Horn's injury history, you have to have some insurance.
I mean,
you have to.
there's CJ Henderson out there that's only 26 years. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking on him, but there's
Been
some
there, done
quality. There's some quality guys out there. Kendall Fuller, Stephon Gilmore, Russell Douglas, Mike Hilton are just a few that are quality starters. So
Yeah, and I 100% believe if it's not one of those guys, it's going to be somebody from another team that got cut that has starting experience.
Or we trade for him like we did Mike Jackson. Just like a
Sure.
6th or 7th round pick. Here you go. You were about to cut him. We think he's quality. That's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Let's move on to offense. Just real quickly.
This will be a much shorter conversation.
Yes, it is. Quickly, the guys that re-signed here. Brady Christensen re-signed. David Moore signed here. 1 year, $1.4 million. Raheem Blackshear re-signed here. So, I mean, that was it on offense. I mean, the good news is they kept that O-line in together. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was a huge thing in my opinion. The O-line showed good promise last year, and instead of letting anybody walk, they went ahead and signed up them and their backups with Brady Christensen. The only question mark I had was not extending Taylor Moton, but the Athletics' Joe Person has been hinting at some of the people in the front office are worried about his injuries, or more specifically, the ability his knees hold up this year. So, that being said, if there's worry from the interior doctors on his knees, I can see them not wanting to extend him for another 3 years right now.
Yeah, that one I agree because he's one of the better right tackles in the league. I would certainly say he's top 15, if not top 10. But I don't know. He's not really had tons of injuries.
No, he hasn't had
in his
hardly
career.
any injuries. That's why I was kind of shocked at when I saw that. But at the same time, if they're saying it was an injury, like they're worried because of that, that makes it a little worrisome.
Yeah.
Like
That's interesting. I hadn't heard that. I hadn't heard
Yeah,
that article.
I've heard that, and I keep seeing it brought out that Joe Person has been hearing whispers from the front office that that's why they haven't extended him. So
he has been in the league since 2017. This is the first year that he has played less than 16 games, and he played 14. But he has been rock solid his whole career in terms of availability.
Oh yeah.
So that's interesting. I wonder what they know that we don't.
That's what I was saying. Like, if there's internal discussions about that with his rock solid history, I figure that their doctors have probably said, "Hey, his knees are don't probably have long left or something that they see
Yeah.
something we can't. But with that, they also re-signed Austin Corbett, center, 1 year, $3 million. He's going to be competing for that center job against Cade Mays. Andy Dalton signed a 2-year, $8 million extension. Great. Love him backing up Bryce Young. I feel like they have a good rapport. Awesome. Tommy Trimble re-signed for 2 years, $10.5 million. I like it. He showed flashes towards the end of last year with Bryce Young, so finally having an offensive coordinator and a quarterback may have been what was the issue all along.
Yeah, very well could have been. Yeah, he had a good season last year. Nice to see him bounce back a little bit. Did you say $10 million? 2 years, $10 million?
2 years, $10.5 million.
Wow, that's kind of
Yeah.
it's kind of a lot.
I bet. Let me pull up the spot rack specs.
Yeah, it's
Oh yeah, it's a 3.8 cap hit this year. Next year it's 6.5 with a potential out for
okay.
2 million
So
dead cap. It's yeah.
Okay. So it's essentially a 1-year deal. Okay, but I do like that. I like keeping, that's a perfect deal to see what you've got in him this year with with another year of Bryce, with a couple of tight ends coming in to put some pressure on him, with Sanders and then Evans, the draftee. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yep. I mentioned Brady Christensen. Adam Thielen restructured his deal. Basically, he just got a nice little fat pay raise to stay in Carolina for 1 more year before he retires. I 100% like that with our young receiving core and what he's continued to do.
Yeah, and when they trade him, at some point this season, he'll still have that money. So that'd be great.
Cade Mays re-signed 1 year, $3.5 million. Again, that's going to be that competing for that center spot. So hats off to him. And Hunter Renfrow signed a $1.2 million 1 year deal. I love that.
So that's an interesting one. All reports are he's looked very solid, back to his old self in these mini camps that they've had. He is probably one of the ones that I'll be most interested to watch in training camp and preseason. I really hope that he is good enough to make the roster, because if he can kind of return to that 1,000-yard guy that he was for parts of his career before he got sick and hurt, that would be such a boom to have as your third or fourth receiver on this team. I mean,
a third or fourth. I mean, you're looking more like fifth or sixth right now. I mean,
I'm just saying, like, if he's that good, then he will be the third or fourth.
Yeah. But I also like it
sixth,
because you can also call him the heir apparent to the Adam Thielen role. And I think they have a very similar skill set of good. Currently, Adam Thielen was always faster than Hunter Renfrow. But I think right now that solid hands, good route running, where he's going to be. He's going to get the
possession guy.
Yeah, I love having that with some of the other guys that we have on this roster.
So what you're saying is that Hunter Renfrow, if he stays healthy, essentially makes Adam Thielen expendable.
I'm not going to lie.
He will be traded at some point during the season.
I am not saying he's going to. I am not going to say he's going to get traded, but I do see a way that happens. I think that contract, that restructure for Thielen keeps him here, just for the simple fact that I think it's a friendly handshake hug. Like, hey, you've done this team proud by staying here, getting those 1,000-yard seasons. You've been through some rough stuff with us. We're coming out the end, and we appreciate that aspect of it.
And he seems to enjoy being here. Yeah, I agree. I do want to go back real quick to the Brady Christensen signing. I think that's such a good value, such a good signing. He's a very versatile player. And, if I guess you are worried about Taylor Moton going down at some point, Brady Christensen has tackle experience and has looked honestly better at tackle at times than he has at guard. So that could be an interesting insurance plan for Taylor Moton there.
When I first heard that, I did think the exact same thing. I forgot to bring it up, but yes, I thought the same thing. I was like, that could be Brady Christensen right tackle spot in the future if things pan out. Or not pans out, but if Taylor Moton can't go, and yeah.
And it would not surprise me to see Brady Christensen rotate out at right tackle at times of the season, especially if, you know, the Panthers are not in games at times, or, you know, the season kind of goes south at some point. Just to see what they've got in him, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
And I'm looking through the rest. I'm not really going to bring up much of the other guys as they're.
Let's talk about Rico Dowdle real quick. So
I'm sorry. That was the big only free agent signing we had from another team. I apologize.
Skill position, yeah.
I skipped him earlier to come back to him and forgot. Sorry.
And you say big. It was 1 year, $2.7 million. So not huge. But this is a guy who ran for 1,000 yards last year. He's still fairly young. And pairing him with Chuba this year could be really fun. Should be really fun to watch.
Really, really fun. And Dave Canales supposedly really wanted him in Tampa when he was there. So, hey, he was a good running back last year. I don't understand how no one signed him to higher than 1 year, two. 1 year, $2 billion.
The Cowboys decided to go with Miles Sanders.
Bye.
Who looked awful the last 2 years. So, you know, maybe Sanders rejuvenates his career in Dallas. You know, if so, good for him. I never wish success on any Dallas player. But I do feel like Sanders, for some reason, it just didn't work out here.
Right? I think he signed too big of a contract here. I think the O-line wasn't in place for him the year he got signed. I think Frank Reich, I think that whole season with Frank Reich as the head coach is just a colossal storm of bad decisions mixed together.
Yeah. It's a lost season.
Yeah. I can't fault any...
And he was just never able to recover.
Yeah, I don't fault any player from that. But I think Chuba Hubbard was just a better player last year. I think he solidified his starting position by outplaying him.
Yeah, agreed. So, yeah, good luck to him. But and also happy to have Blackshear back. I was a little worried that...
Me too.
They were going to get rid of him. And, you know, he's not a huge part of the team or the offense especially. But he does play special teams, and I don't know. I just like watching him run. I think he's fun.
He is a fun returner. And it feels like when he gets the ball with another guy we're going to talk about, it gives you a little bit of a little juice in the special teams that hasn't really been had here very often.
Yeah.
Or lately.
Did you go through the departures?
I have not.
Offense. All right, so we mentioned Miles Sanders, Felipe Franks as well. He goes to Atlanta. Velus Jones, I guess, was a wide receiver that at some point was on the Panthers. He was with the Saints. And then there's Ian Thomas.
Your best friend.
I haven't been able to keep a smile off of my face since the news broke that he was gone. He has gone to the Raiders. Do we play the Raiders this year? I don't know if we do or not, but I don't think we do.
I don't either.
That being said, I wish Ian Thomas the best of luck, and I hope to never have to watch him play football for a team that I'm rooting for ever again. It's kind of sad because the jokes are just gonna die now. Like this has been my thing for years since we started the podcast. I remember one of the first podcasts that we ever did, I think, was his rookie year, right? That's when we started the podcast, was his rookie year. And I remember just disliking him from the very beginning. And that was one of the things that you and I disagreed on so much, and you just kept waiting. Like at some point, Ian Thomas was going to put it together, and he just never did. And then they re-signed him
Oh,
for way too much
way
money.
too much. I even agreed with
It
you
wasn't
on
even a
that.
ton of money. It was just way too much money. It was like what, 3 years, 15 million or something. It's not like I remember it. But
I mean,
gosh,
I
I
could go
just
back here. I look at his summary here and try to find it. But yeah, it
I'm
was.
fairly certain it was like 3 years, 15, 16 millions. Just something way too expensive for the type of production that he was putting up. Um, but happy trails. Glad to see you go. If I do, hopefully he'll carve out a little career for himself. But if he
I
gets cut this year in training camp and never plays football again, it will not surprise me.
it wouldn't shock me either. I mean, he's competing against.
No.
I mean, Brock Bowers and Mike Mayer. I think that's who's the
Right?
two tight ends,
Could
and
very easily be a practice squad guy
yeah, like
wherever he
that
ends up.
that is an insane tight end room to try to butt
Yeah.
into.
Well, he fits right in. When you think of those, when you think of the great tight end rooms, he fits right in.
All right.
Oh
So
my
now we're
God,
gonna
happy
talk
trail.
about the signings or drafting players. T Mac Tedero McMillan drafted, eighth overall. I think obviously we've talked about this. He's gonna be their go-to guy. I do believe that
He'll be the
they're
number
gonna
one.
try to force feed him to a certain extent. It's gonna be very interesting how he pans out with Adam Thielen, Xavier Legette, Jalen Coker. I keep seeing people forget Jalen Coker here. Like they keep talking about Legette, and I'm like, Coker looked better at parts of the
He did.
season
Hooker
than
had a
Legette.
better rookie season than Leggett.
He didn't play
Bar
as
none.
much as Legette, and he put up similar numbers. So we'll see how that works. I love it though. I love this receiving core right now. I love the ability that it can be boom, because you put in Hunter Renfrow in there. You put in Jimmy Horn Jr., who was drafted in the 6th round as your gadget guy, who has speed, has agility, who was not the focus point of Colorado because Travis Hunter, Deion Sanders, adopted son was there. So I love that pickup. I really do like this receiving core right now.
Yeah, and then you talk about the running backs that we already talked about. Even when Chuba's out, there's not that much of a downgrade
No.
to Rico Dowdle. Both of them can receive the ball out of the backfield. They're not, I wouldn't call them receiving
No.
backs, but they both have the skill set to do it and move the chains. But yeah, I mean, T Mac, he was the guy I wanted all along in the draft. Never really wavered from that. Happy that they drafted him. Thrilled that they drafted him. I will get that jersey before the season starts. My birthday is coming up pretty soon, so I'm hoping to get it for my birthday. If not, then I'll buy it myself. But yeah, I mean, you named them, but I want to name them again. T Mac, Adam Thielen, Hunter Renfrow, Xavier Legette, Jalen Coker, Jimmy Horn Jr., David Moore.
There's
But
depth.
even David Moore is a 400 yard receiver. Like, and he's the guy that might get cut.
No, I 100% agree. And like, I've never been a David Moore fan, but towards the end of the last season, I was like, okay, he's quality. He's a quality piece.
Yeah.
He's not a starter in my eyes, but he's a quality
He
piece.
deserves to be on an NFL team.
Yes, that's where I was sitting at, and now I'm like, okay, where does he fit? I don't see him fitting into this roster right now. So
I
there
think they
could,
just keep 7 receivers.
or they keep 7. I would not be shocked if one of the David Moore, or I don't know if Hunter Renfrow, but one of those guys gets moved for a corner or someone else, a linebacker or something like that, to help
Sure.
out.
Yeah, that's the other positive of having riches in the wide receiver room is that you can make moves like that and it doesn't really hurt the production, right? They're not all going to be able to play at the same time. And if Renfrow, Renfrow to me is kind of the biggest question mark. Because
100%.
if he is healthy, if he is back to, even 90% of that, those few years that he had early in his career with Oakland, or the Raiders. Um, that's where does he fit? Where does he fit into the team? Uh, do you just rotate him and Thielen,
I think
kind of out?
I
Does he
think
play
he,
out on the outside some,
yeah.
to spell? I mean, you got a rotating cast on the outside there of XL, Coker, Renfro, and then T Mac on the other side. You have the 4 receiver sets sometimes, 5 receiver sets maybe sometimes. Put XL in the slot.
Keep running them
Can
deep.
you imagine?
Tire those
Oh my
corners out and
gosh,
then swap them out and run another deep pattern. Tire
dude. I mean,
those corners out.
and then you talk about Sanders at tight end, Tremble at tight end, Evans at tight end. Big
Well,
guys with big catch radiuses who, are going to pose problems in the middle of the field, especially if you also have XL running through the middle of the field at slot. Or, hell, I'm Jimmy Horn Jr., who's so damn fast, doing the same. I mean,
this is going to be
Dave
fun.
Canales is going to have a field day with these guys. It's going to be so much fun to watch. This is going to be an offense that we maybe have never seen from the Panthers,
100%.
just in terms of the different things that they'll be able to do.
Now, I know you went off on a tangent that I was going to bring up later on, but we did draft Mitchell Evans in the 6th or 5th round, and I was watching some pundits, and they were saying that I believe this guy is going to be the best tight end out of them, out of the group of tight ends after the first two. He was like, he has everything. He just was injured last year. I don't know why he fell to the 5th round. He's like, they got a starter in the 5th round. And then, I mean, you and I love JT Sanders last year. We saw it start to happen before he fell on his head, and I feel like that was kind of I don't want to say it scared him, but it scared him. It rightfully scared someone when you fall on your head. And then I think it took a minute to get back. And I think he started doing that in the last game or two.
And not only did it likely scare him, but it also he may have had neck stiffness. He may have had an undiagnosed concussion. Like there could have been a lot of reasons why his production kind of fell off a little bit after that. But they also didn't play him to the extent that they were playing him before the injury as well. So I fully expect him to come back this year and really look like. I think he's going to establish himself. Can you imagine, like, I mean, these 2 tight end sets that we may be able to run with 2 big tight ends with big catch radiuses, plus our big receivers. We could potentially be putting lineups out here where everybody on the field is 6'4" to catch the ball. I mean, it's insane.
Lee gets 6'2", but yes, he has a huge catch radius. And again, Tommy Tremble started flourishing last year towards the end of the season with Bryce. So I mean, you got those 3 tight ends, those three tight ends, T Mac, Xavier Legette. Then you have like an Adam Thielen and Hunter Renfro.
Yeah.
Then
these guys are like afterthoughts, and they're really good players.
Yes. And then you got Chuba, Rico Dowdle, and they also drafted Trevor Etienne in the 4th round, who was a quality player. I don't think he's a stud, but I think a 4th round running back could be a stud later on. So
it could very well be one of those guys that he could be the end of Blackshear on the team. Depending on how training camp goes, I think that's quite possible. But he was another guy that I really liked and was hoping that we would get. Now I'm a Georgia fan, so that was one of the main reasons there. But he has a good skill set. Like you said, he's not a 3-down back, but he is a guy, a change of pace back that could come in, and at some point, man, it's just my mind just reels thinking of the possibilities of this offense and what Dave Canales, who is a very good offensive coach, is going to be able to scheme up. It's just going to be a lot of fun.
It's so much fun, man. I am so excited.
I just hope that the defense is good enough to where they can do it, to where they have the opportunity to do some of these fun things on offense, and then they're not just playing catch up all game long.
Yeah, and that's where it goes. We need Dave Canales to commit to the run. Let's slow down that. Let's give our defense a break. Let's get a lead. Try to give our defense a break, because I felt like too many times, even in close games, Dave Canales went too much to the pass. I know that's very, very obvious to all Panthers fans, but it was like Chuba was running great. Why did you go away from him? Like what?
Yeah.
It was a 7-point game. Who cares? It's in the third quarter. Let's keep running the ball.
Yeah.
So
well, one of the good things about Dave Canales is I believe he is fully aware of his deficiencies and very willing to change. And he admitted in post-game press conferences many times, or not necessarily post-game press conferences, but like the day after, where he had time to watch tape, that he made mistakes in play calling, and maybe he shouldn't have been so pass happy, right? And we have to remember as well, this was his first year as a head coach. I think maybe only his second year as a play caller, so he's still learning how to do all those things. But this year, the head coach part, now he understands what's going to be asked of him. He understands the commitment, the time commitments that are going to be asked of him or required of him. The upgrades from the player perspective, the fact that he now trusts Bryce Young to execute some of these more complicated play calls. I think that we're going to see a very, very different game plan in terms from the offense.
And I hope so. And anybody in the Panthers organization, if you need a in-game specialist to tap Dave Canales on the shoulder to tell him, hey, it's the third quarter, we're only down by 10 points, keep running the ball, we're averaging 5 yards per carry, I'm available. I don't work on Sunday. I can be there. I can be nice to Dave Canales. Be like, just like the little chain guy or the little guy who holds the headphones. Like, hey, get back from the line. I could be like, hey Dave, tap 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 tap. It's 2nd and 3. Run the ball, buddy. We're down by 7. We're cool. Let's get the first. Let's move the chains. We don't need to bomb it. No need.
I saw a video the other day of the guy that Sean McVay hired to basically run interference for him whenever he started to walk out on the field. So I can just imagine you, like every time Dave Canales is about to call a passing play, when a run play is obviously what needs to be called, just diving in, sacrificing your body to stop that play call.
No, buddy.
Yeah.
Halfback dive right here.
Come on. Let's use our brain.
Look at Robert Hunt. He's hungry, man. He wants to nail that defensive tackle. Let's do this.
Hey, it's 3rd and 1 on the 40. We don't need to throw it 50 yards.
Nope.
Let's just run Chuba up the middle, and if it doesn't work, let's do it again.
Yep.
It's going to be okay.
Hey, let's do a read option with Bryce rolling out, because they may not expect that. Bryce was shifty.
Yeah, that's another possible, Bryce running this year, I think, could be very interesting, because we're going to have the offensive personnel to take up the defense's attention. I think Bryce could very easily run for 500 yards this year.
I do too, and he was a very smart runner last year. He knew how to, that was something that Cam was not a smart runner, but God, I loved it. God, I loved the Cam Newton lowering the shoulder, rolling over a linebacker. But that being said, I also think that shortened his career. So I like the fact that Bryce Young knows when to get down. He plays smart, even the hits he took, except for like the sacks that didn't see coming, unfortunately. But every time you saw him like get down or like lay down to the point of getting the touchdown, and then going down. It was very smart.
Yeah. And another thing with this offense is a lot of these guys they're going to be here for multiple more years. This is a team that's going to get to grow together, and the offense can be molded around these talents for the next 3-4 years. It's going to be.
Fun.
I think we're entering a very special time to be a Panthers fan, and we deserve it because we've gone through hell the last 5, 6, 7 years.
I mean,
It's been very, very tough to be a Panthers fan.
last year we took the spot of the Browns. Like,
Yeah,
and now we're back. We're back to being somewhat hopeful.
yeah. We were the team that other fans kind of felt bad for that we were fans of
No.
this team. Like, uh, I can't remember when when other fans come to the opposing team's podcast and comment really nice things. You know that they feel really bad for you.
Yeah,
And we had a lot of that last year.
yes, we did. But I do feel promised. This is a I think this team is on the upswing. Like you said, man, I'm very excited for this offense. I think
Yeah.
Dave Canales has a lot of weapons. I think he has a good line. He has a quarterback that's smart and knows what to do. So if the defense could be not top 15, but maybe, 17 to 20 type of range, I think we could have a lot of fun this year. Fringe playoffs. That's what I'll say.
I mean, I think that should be the goal, right? 7 to 10 wins, compete for the division. But the offense is going to hopefully help the defense by staying on the field, putting up points, putting the opposing offenses into positions to where they have to go one-dimensional, and that's only going to help the defense. So I think by they improved the defense a ton, but they also improved the offense pretty significantly with some, the big move obviously with T-Mac, but then some of the underrated stuff with Rico Dowdle, with Evans, with Hunter Renfrow potentially.
Yeah.
It's just, they've done a really good job this year. And, if last year was Dan Morgan kind of learning what works and what doesn't, this year could very easily be Dan Morgan executive of the year type scenario.
Oh, 100%. Right? I mean, if this team, knock on wood, gets to the playoffs this year, you're talking about the worst team by far in 2 years turning around to the playoffs. And not only that, roster overhaul. You're talking about,
Yep.
We are literally talking about 2 years ago, the worst offense in the league, how it looked abysmal, to a offense that we are both very excited to see. A defense that was historically bad go to the playoffs the next year. That's huge.
Yeah, and again, we're not predicting playoffs.
No.
But it is not out of the realm of possibility, and that alone is a big improvement in our fan mindset over the last several years.
I mean, it's been 5 bad years, guys. 5 bad years. So,
Hey, comment if you're still listening.
We are like an hour and 15 minutes
This
now.
is one of the longest podcasts we've done in several years. So comment if you're still listening. We know Jay he's probably out there. What up, Jay? Yeah, let us know if you're still listening. This was fun.
Yeah. We want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. If you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on the show. Please check out our store at TeePublic.
We will, I'm sure, be back next week to talk about training camp and what we have read about, because we won't be seeing any of it.
Hey.
Although,
I want to discuss the fashion of arrivals.
okay, yeah, we'll do a whole Jerry is going to do a whole solo podcast on the fashion and the automobiles that these guys are arriving in. But I do hope that we get some, maybe some reporters can post video, things like that. We can kind of see some of this stuff, and we got some joint practices coming up as well. And hey, we're less than a month away from preseason football on our TVs. So let's go. Until next time, everybody stay safe out there and keep bounding.